Now that we are radiused and we've touched our entire fretboard with a radius, it is time to level. Now to level, we need to be flat from the nut to the 14th fret, and then we will probably need to rock that flat edge forward a little bit and get from the 14th to the end of the fretboard. That's fine. Right now we've done everything with 80 grit so far, and what I want to do is take my flattening bar with 80 grit on it and attack this. A couple of things. You can make your own leveling bar. If you have a quarter sawn piece of oak or some other rigid hard wood that is going to stay flat, you can use that. You can get some 1.5 or 2-inch tubular steel like they make fence posts or interior railings out of, and flatten that on a flattening plate like you would the sole of a jointer plane or a large plane, and get that all flattened up. There are some levels that you can buy at the hardware store that are pretty tough and very rigid and long enough to do this, but I find that most of them made out of aluminum do have a bit of flex built into them, and I'm not sure I trust them 100%. I use a commercially made flattening bar. This is from one of the Luthier supply warehouses, and I have 80 grit on one side and 120 on the other. Since we're at 80 right now, I am going to try and flatten this with 80, but I'm going to chalk up first. Coming at this with 80, and with this, it's even more incredibly important to get your neck supported well. I have it supported in 2 spots. And with this, remember, we've got this radius already, and we're going to take a flat bar to it. So it's important to come across this and maintain our radius, which is why I have the chalk on there. That's going to help do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate it over that radius back and forth and try and maintain that radius. Okay, it looks like I'm a little light in this middle, so that means that I've got a high spot here and here that I'm taking down. That's all right. No, it's just about gone. Almost there. Still got just a little bit showing at that 5th and 6th fret. And that took care of it. Now we've got, of course, forward of the 14th fret, got a little bit to take care of here. Going to double check the radius. Just going lightly to take the chalk off. That looks nice and even. I don't see any spots that I missed. And I'm not trying to level it with this radius block again. I just wanted to kind of touch the top of the chalk and see where we were. Now we are level. So what I'm going to do is flip my leveling bar over and go to the 120 side. First, let me chalk this again. Hitting this with the 120 leveling bar. And at this point, the 120 on the leveling bar is not intended to do much other than just taking out the 80 grit marks. And that all looks good. That's nice and flat. All of the chalk is coming off evenly. So between the nut and the 14th fret, that looks perfect. That looks like the lines are out. I'm going to take my well-jointed flat piece of wood and hit the 14th to the end. That looks good. The last thing I'm going to do is switch out my 80 grit on my 14-inch radius for a 120 and hit this again with the 120 on the block just to double check it. Going to chalk it one more time. 14-inch block, 120 grit. And I am not putting a lot of pressure down on this. I am just kind of grazing over the top of this to see if I've kept my radius and if I see any trouble spots. And that all looked good from here to here, and just a little bit of pressure needed here. So I'm gonna choke up on this, rock forward just a little bit. So I'm just sanding between the end of the fretboard and the 14th. And that's it. And now I'm gonna clean this up and take my straight edge to this. Now I want to check my straight edge. Now I've got my straight edge cantilevered over, and I'm going to check the saddle. I'm going right down the middle of the fretboard, and I'm like 9.75 still. So I wasn't able to correct that from earlier, but I didn't make it worse. Really, that's kind of still in that sweet spot between 9.5 and 10. So I'm still good. I'm happy with that. It's exactly where I want to be. Everything is level. Everything is radiused. We are ready to move on to fret markers and side dot markers. We'll see you in the next video.